Our future as a region depends on what we've learned from the past. Moving forward sometimes means looking back and confronting hard truths. I'm Nathan Vickers for First Alert Forward, and this place, the Hanley House in Clayton, tells the story of the St. Louis countryside before Clayton became the county seat. Now it sits between a residential neighborhood and a dense downtown. It's been closed to the public since the pandemic, but now the city hopes to reopen it to better share its stories and the lessons of history. Nestled against the modern Clayton skyline is something much older.
You're walking into a house that was built in 1855. You're back almost 2 centuries.
A house that predates the city of Clayton itself.
I just think it's marvelous.
The place where Susan Hanley's great-grandfather settled in a mail-order house on a St. Louis County farmstead. His name was Martin Franklin Hanley, as in Hanley Road.
I'm in the place that my ancestors actually lived, and it's the way it was when they lived here. It's just amazing. You get a real feel of the past that you can't get from reading books.
The Hanley farm made up part of the land donated to create Clayton following the Great Divorce of 1876 that separated the city of St. Louis from St. Louis County. Some of the family continued to live there until the 1960s when the city of Clayton took it over.
Really, when it turned over to the city of Clayton, all of the furniture, all of the objects, the pictures and things like that stayed with the house.
Alex Elmstead works with the Clayton Community Foundation, which supports the preservation of the house and the history it contains.
This house is built 1855. It is a symbol of westward expansion. It is a symbol of the Civil War. It is a symbol of the nation. It is just as important, in my opinion, as Ulysses S. Grant home. Everybody knows Hanley Road. Most people don't know about the historic Hanley House. So it is the oldest structure in the city of Clayton.
I'm a historian by profession, and I know how important this house is.
Susan Hanley grew up in Minnesota and now lives in Washington. We spoke with her on her first visit in 2 decades.
I think it's wonderful. I first saw it when it was open. It was almost 20 years ago.
The occasion for that visit was the dedication of a tree planted on the property, replacing a large oak that had fallen, and the first public event on the property since the pandemic.
Had to close. The Parks Department didn't have the capacity to, in a sense, still have staff come through. The world shut down for 2 years.
Now the city of Clayton wants to reopen it to the public. Mayor Bridget McAndrew believes it could be a valuable educational and historic resource.
I just think it's so crucial for us to treasure our history.
But that will mean making repairs on the city's oldest structure.
We had to do some waterproofing in the basement. There's some roofing work we need to do. There's some work we need to do around the windows. Just some, it's a labor of love to take care of an old home, and there's just some items that need to be done just to kind of take care of an old house.
I think it's terribly important. You can't just get history from books. You've got to really be in the place and see it. And I didn't understand a lot of history until I went to the actual sites.
There are many stories within the house.
This is an incredible piece of furniture here.
Some that reflect a darker chapter in American history.
These are all originals here. All of these objects in here are all originals.
The Hanley family supported the Confederacy and owned at least 3 slaves. The property also includes their quarters in a nearby building. Historians know little about them and only one name, Lydia Jackson. As the city works to reopen the house, they want to do more to share her story, too.
History is nuanced, and sometimes things are glossed over. This allows us to tell the whole complete story of not just one family that was here, but 2 families, the Hanley family and the Jackson family.
It's one of many gaps in history from a place and time that did not value the stories of enslaved people. The kind of story that the Griot Museum in North St. Louis seeks to preserve and share today.
The mission initially was to basically try to fill those gaps between those untold stories about African American history, particularly Black people who were just really important figures in this struggle for freedom, for success. We were doing all the same things that everybody else and sometimes doing more in terms of making this a viable place to live.
Lois Conley is the founder and director of the museum and says the region should face these kinds of truths head on.
I always kind of struggle with the dichotomy of telling the ugly stories and not telling them. I think you have to tell those stories I think that it's also important in this day and age, however, as we try to do new things, we try to be different about the way we've told those stories. We make sure that we include everybody in those stories, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We have to hear both sides. We have to hear it all.
She agrees that reopening the house should include a search for answers.
We don't know much about the Jackson family. This is an opportunity perhaps to learn more about them, to humanize them, to give them some life, to let people know that they were valuable people. I don't know that they were treated that way as enslaved people, but it would be good to know that they were human.
For the home's caretakers today, moving forward means looking back in time.
It's part of our past, and you shouldn't whitewash history.
These are untold stories that are just as important as the stories of the landowners and those residents that were living here that provided the county seat that we know today.
Preserving the past while also confronting it.
There are so few houses like this preserved in America. There's so few of it, we just need to preserve our past.